This is an instructional video on how to approximate irrational numbers, specifically non-perfect square roots. So we want to remember our 15 perfect squares. That I asked you to memorize. Because when we get these challenging problems, create a simpler problem. Use what you know to make it easier for yourself. For our first problem, which expressions have a value between 7 and 8? Choose all that apply. This statement tells us that there's more than one right answer. So we have to look at all possible answers. So let's start with letter A, 2 pi. That's the pi symbol. Pi can be represented by 3.14. So if we're doing 2 times pi, we're really doing 2 times 3.14. So I can set that up and multiply. 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 1 is 2, bring down my decimal, 2 times 3 is 6. So this one would be 6.28. That is not a correct answer. It is not between 7 and 8. Looking at letter B, we have the pi symbol again, plus 4. So again, pi is 3.14, and we're going to do plus 4. When we are adding decimals, we have to line up the decimal points. So 3 and 4 are the whole numbers. The decimal point 14 stays the same. 3 plus 4 is 7. So that would be 7.14. That is between 7 and 8, and so B is a correct answer. Letter C, we have the square root of 48. Now the square root of 48 was not on our perfect square list. So we're going to make a simpler problem. Instead of 48, I know that 48 is between 36 and 49. 48 is in the middle. The square root of 36 is 6. The square root of 49 is 7. So 48 is in the middle of 6 and 7. We want answers that are between 7 and 8, so C is not a correct answer. The next one, square root of 56, is also a non-perfect square. It is not part of our list of 15, so we need to figure out which ones is it close to. 56 is between 49 and 64. 49, 56, and 64. The square root of 49 is 7. The square root of 64 is 8. So it is between 7 and 8. D is a correct answer. And for the last answer choice, the square root of 62, that is not part of our list of perfect squares. So we're going to figure out which two is it closest. 62 is close to 49 and 64. It is between those two perfect squares. Square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 64 is 8. It is between 7 and 8 like the question asks, and so E is a correct answer. Which of the following lists the numbers in order from least to greatest? So looking at all of these possibilities, we have 2 pi, meaning we're going to multiply 2 times 3.14. If I was to set that up long ways and multiply, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 1 is 2, bring down my decimal, 2 times 3 is 6. I get an answer of 6.28. The second value I have is a 6. It's just a whole number 6. The second one is a square root of 42. That is not one of our perfect squares on our list, so we're going to have to break it down into what it's close to. The square root of 42 is between 36 and 49. It's in the middle. So it's between 6 and 7. The other one is the square root of 34. Again, it is not on our perfect square list. So we're going to have to go between 25 and 36. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 36 is 6. So putting them in order from least to greatest, The smallest is going to be the square root of 34 because it starts with the smallest number 5. The second value that's going to be the smallest is going to be the whole number 6 because it does not have any decimal points that go along with it. Now, looking at the next two, both of them have a decimal, 6.28 for our pi value and 6 point something. We don't know what the square root of 42 actually is. But if we had to take a guess, I would say that the square root of 42 is closer to 49 than it is to 36. So I would say that 42 is closer to 7. It's going to have a larger decimal. So that's going to mean 2 pi is in third place, and the square root of 42 is in last place for letter D of our correct answer. Which of the following square roots is best represented by point A? So looking at point A, we can see it's between 3 and 4 on a number line. So we're going to look at our perfect squares, starting with the first one, 7. 7 is not on our perfect square list, but the two that it's in between would be 4 and 9. 7 is in between 4 and 9. Square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3. That is not between the values on the number line. Our second non-perfect square is 12. Again, it's not on our list of 15, so we have to look at what it goes in between. 12 is between 9 and 16. 12 is in the middle. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 16 is 4. It is between 3 and 4, so 12 is a possible answer choice. The next answer choice, 15. 15 is not on our perfect square list, so we have to look and see what is it in between. It is in between 9 and 16, which is 3 and 4. So 15 is a possible answer choice. And the last one, the square root of 8. 8 is between 4 and 9. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 9 is 3. That is not between 3 and 4 as per the number line. So D is not a correct answer. Now we can use some common sense and look at our actual number line. Point A is very close to the number 4. So looking here, if 4, our answer, is close to 16, we want to pick the answer that is closest to 16. And in this case, 15 is closer than 12. C is our correct answer. Which of the following would be the best estimate for the square root of 198? So again, 198 is not on our perfect square list, and so we are going to have to break it down. The two closest perfect squares, looking at our list, it's close to 196 and 225. 198 is in the middle of those two. 196 is going to equal 14. 225 is going to equal 15. We know that our answer is going to be in the middle. It's going to be 14 point something. We're not sure yet, meaning we can take out D as an answer. Now, A, B, and C give us lots of possible answer choices, so we have to use a little bit of common sense. 198 and 196 are very close to each other. They're only 2 points off. And so we want to pick an answer that is very, very close to 14. 14.1 has the closest decimal, the smallest decimal point to 14. So A is our correct answer. Between which two integers would each of the following lie? So looking at our non-perfect squares, we're going to start with 90. And looking at our 15 perfect square list, we want the two that's in between. 90 is in between 81 and 100. The square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 100 is 10. So 90 is between 9 and 10. Same thing for 175. It is not on our perfect square list, so we're going to look at the list and figure out which one is it in between. 175 is between 169 and 196. Square root of 169 is 13. Square root of 196 is 14. So letter B, the square root of 175, is between 13 and 14. And the last problem, the negative square root of 12. Again, 12 is not on our list, so we look at what it's between. It is between 9 and 16. Square root of 9 is 3, square root of 16 is 4, and put your negatives back in. Square root of negative 3 and negative 4. If there is a negative in the problem, we keep a negative in our answer.